Simone Hicks is having a panic attack. Damon Sims is getting a reality check. And Cam gets a medical check. What's good, y'all? She gets this Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American Homecoming video. In this video, we're going to be talking about episode 2 from season 1, Under Pressure. Let's go ahead and get into it. Child, the episode opens up with us in the class registration line, and Miss Mamas with the blonde little twisties, you cute or whatever, but why are you letting Damon Sims get in front of you so he can get closer to Simone Hicks? Like, what is going on? As I mentioned in my live last night, maybe I'm going to have to go up to Brixton because clearly there's not enough people there that are protecting our good sis Simone. Damon is consistently applying pressure. He's leaning over and whispering, having long lingering looks, going throughout this episode, giving her a new place to work out and whatnot, being all supportive, tall, gray skin, smooth voice. Sir, ain't nobody ask you for all that, okay? Ain't nobody ask you for all of that. The theme of this episode, as the title mentions, is Under Pressure, and we see our main characters get ready for the first day of school. This is the day before that day. They're finalizing their class choices. They're trying to figure out what their schedule is going to be. They're also trying to balance the pressures that are coming with being a student athlete. And I thought that this episode just did a phenomenal job of really capturing the anxiety and angst that comes along with being a collegiate student athlete, especially if you are at a program that expects you to perform at a high level, let alone like a championship or a rebuilding program. This is intense. Like, y'all gonna get sick of me because I'm going to forever just be going back to my time in college and playing for a D1 school and really competing, being on championship teams, and like really understanding what this feels like, especially freshman year. I feel like this first episode or this second episode did a really great job of capturing the energy of what freshman year as a collegiate athlete feels like. You are literally dropped into this world and you're basically told to figure it out. Here's a little pamphlet, here's a little map of the campus, and you better have your ass at practice, and you got to figure out how to do all of the things. So you went from maybe at home where you had to support a family or friends or whatever to like make sure that you were doing what you need to do, where you needed to be on top of it. Now you're like on your own 100%, and you really just got to figure it out and make it do what it do. And throughout this episode, Simone struggles a lot, like a lot, so much so that she winds up having a panic attack towards the end of the episode because she is holding on to all of these feelings of anxiety and stress, has no real outlet for how to release them, doesn't actually know what she should do next, and basically is overwhelmed and overcome by all of her emotions, which is completely normal. Like, it happens, y'all. So when we see her have this panic attack in this episode, while it is definitely alarming and it can be scary in the moment, this is just one of the times where I was just like, yo, they are just really dialing it in and being super authentic, because yeah, it happens, and more often than you think. So let's talk about them struggling within their respective sports. So Damon has the looming pressure of the next baseball prodigy getting a little bit buzzed, and his teammates kind of antagonizing him. Leave it to All-American. They're going to have a Cam and or a Frosto on any given team. And this little Latin-ass sir with the phone who is talking about shots fired, XYZ. Sir, ain't nobody asked you that. You and your little bird chest. Get in the weight room while you over here worried about what's going on with Damon Sims and who's coming up next to Damon Sims and gonna take Damon Sims spots and yap. Like, I get it. Damon is definitely arrogant, overly so. He's doing a lot. However, he was recruited by the MLB. He did give up that opportunity to come play on this team, and y'all having an attitude about it because you know he better than you is a problem. It's a you problem, not a him problem. Now, yes, he needs to dial back his cockiness for sure, and that is what we see in this episode. He's struggling to connect with the team as well as in his head a lot, partly driven because he's not able to connect with the team and because he feels such a big divide. However, I'm not letting up off of the teammates, because it's also not his job to make y'all pursue excellence. It's also not his job to make y'all get these bird chests together. When they were standing off against the other team, I was like, look at these bird chest boys. If y'all don't get in the weight room and hush up while y'all out here trying to fight and start mess, you got issues with Damon, you got issues with the other team. Do y'all got issues with being mediocre? Do you got issues with being regular? It's giving I don't want to put in the work to be great, so I want to blame everybody around me aside from myself. Get y'all's reps in. Don't you got some sprints or something to do? Because I can't. Ultimately, Damon winds up getting in his flow, getting back to a really great place. Kind of ushered in by his little impromptu training session with Simone, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video. Simone is struggling to, one, she has an outdated physical, so she gets limited playing time, limited training time. She can only train solo, but then also because she's struggling to balance her schedule, she also winds up missing the solo time that she did have. She, of course, has a little bit of conflict with Thea while also having a school project with Thea. Chill. Miss Thea, Miss Mamas, I'm still on your head, but you went ahead and gave Simone a compliment when she comes in second to her in the Queens of the Court battle, which I appreciate because real gonna recognize real, and at least you ain't gonna be a hater completely. If you see something great, you gonna speak on it, so I appreciate it. However, you still need to let up on Simone Hicks because yes, she might be coming for your spot, and at the end of the day, that's gonna make both of y'all better, right? Y'all, I gotta make a correction. The little bird chest boys moment is the face-off between the baseball team and the football team, and none of y'all are giving what y'all sports say. Where's y'all linebackers? Where's y'all defensive backs? Where's the big boys at? Why are the little boys fighting? What is happening? Sorry, I'm crackling up, y'all. Like, this whole little moment, it's giving ghetto. It's giving toxic masculinity. It's giving, y'all need to go hit the weight room and get out of each other's face. And y'all, while we talking about athletes, can we talk about Cam? For the purposes of this video, he's going to be called Cameron, okay? Because I need a full government something to be able to make sure that y'all understand the severity of what I'm saying. Cameron, why are you playing basketball with low top Pumas, boo? You are a football player, sir. And yes, old dude definitely did foul the hell out of you. But exactly what were you thinking? And I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I love this episode. I love the feel of homecoming. I absolutely adore it. But there are moments where the dialogue and what's happening is a little bit cringe. And the setup for this scene, it was that he literally gave this whole declaration, I'm about to sink this game-winning layup. That does not happen. Basketball players don't announce they about to win the game with a layup. They just don't. So he said that and I was just like, okay, cringe. From there, I'm like, something is going to have to happen because at this point, you didn't announce this BS ass layup. Like, what? He gets knocked out of the air and hits his head on the ground. His roommate comes rushing to his aid, and Damon. I'm really looking forward to seeing a little bit more from Damon and Cam and if they're going to become best friends or if Damon's just going to be hovering around this whole JR connection, because JR, I still don't trust him. He's a horrible detective asking questions completely just out the way. You got a sibling? One, you should know that because y'all supposedly grew up together and play like Pop Warner or whatever that is for baseball players when y'all were younger. Like, that's how y'all actually met each other, by playing like baseball AAU. So how do you not know that he don't have any siblings? And why are you asking this question this randomly like this as you stare at a baby picture, which seems like a baby picture of Damon? I think that they're trying to give us this whole little seed of like their siblings, y'all, but I'm not going for it because I already know how these All-American writers get down, and they tried to do that with Billy Baker being Spencer's dad, and it didn't happen. So I don't think that it's going to be something as obvious as JR is actually Damon's brother, but they're going to try to take us down this road. So if you on that ride, go ahead, but I'm going to wait right here for you until y'all circle back. I'll be right here. Y'all, on a more serious note, we learned in this episode that Cam Watkins has a brain aneurysm and can't play football. And I tell y'all, it is one of the most heartbreaking things to watch on these series when athletes who have an immense amount of talent build their identity within one sport, and the success that they find from exploiting that talent within that sport get the news that they can no longer be a part of that sport. It just rips me up. I remember in college, I actually tore my meniscus, and I had a few other like injuries, little nagging injuries, and I played my whole entire senior year, my senior season, on a torn meniscus because I refused to get surgery before my senior year and just not play. Like, I don't know, it's a feeling that's very, very hard to describe. And that was me. Like, I am going back to a feeling of not being able to play for one season, which would have been my final collegiate season, but I could have still, like, if I wanted to pursue pros or whatever, I wasn't like I was out for life. Like, I I take that and then times it times 100, when you get told that you can no longer do something for the rest of your life, and it's something that you have been doing for all of which you remember or know as your life. Like, since you could remember anything, since you were knee high to a duck, you have been playing basketball, playing football, and it's just like, oh my word. Similar to back when Spencer got shot and we wasn't sure if he was ever going to make it back to the game. Somebody mentioned on live last night that what if Cam can play another sport? Like, what if he switches over to baseball? Does he have any talent in baseball? I guess we're going to have to see. I think that his journey is really going to be a journey of, I guess, figuring out who he is now that he is no longer going to be a football player. Who is Cam Watkins now? And he was good. He was literally the second best player to Spencer James and Crenshaw, and now he's simply Cam Watkins. Now, how he uses this news against Keisha, I don't actually appreciate, because I get it. Like, you see somebody who literally has the choice to pursue the thing that drives them, the thing that they're most talented with, the thing that they're most passionate about. But it is a lot more complicated and nuanced than she simply is just going to take the easy road out and going to become a doctor because that's what her dad wants when she really wants to become a dancer. Like, I appreciate what he said, but then I'm also like, all right, now Cam, buck back, because it's way deeper than that. Y'all see what I'm doing today, and y'all only get to see one piece of it. Like, you get to see me on social media and me on this YouTube channel, but you don't really get to know what my company looks like, what clients I service, because I don't really talk about any of that. Like, you know a little bit about my show that I'm making, but you haven't seen me operate in that capacity. And as I've mentioned before, I have a master's degree in biology. I went to 2 HBCUs for both undergrad and grad school. I was supposed to go to medical school, and it was not until I was 2 years out of grad school that I actually got the nerve to tell my parents that I was not going to be going to medical school. I was delaying. I had taken this job as an allograft skin processor. I was like still taking MCAS and still doing certain things, still volunteering here, so that if I was pursuing my blog or doing X, Y, and Z on the side, I could still say, well, I'm still doing this. I'm writing in this journal. I'm doing this intern opportunity. I'm doing this volunteer work. I'm working as an allograft skin processor, so I'm still medical field adjacent. I'm just taking a little time before going to medical school. All the while, now I realize I was buying time to figure out how to find the confidence and the power to be able to tell them, like, nah, I'm not going to do what the original plan was. I think that there's something else for me. And Keisha is literally only a sophomore in college, and it's hard. Like, when you have the pressures of an idea of what it is to make it, but when people have beliefs in you to go a certain path, and that's what success will look like, and it's been modeled for you, it is very hard to just one day wake up and be like, yeah, I don't want to do it. Not only is it hard to have that conversation with your parents or whoever's expecting this of you, but then you also have to have a very real conversation about, like, is this what I really want, or am I being emotional? Is something just too hard and I don't want to do it because it's too hard, but I actually can do it, or actually I'm supposed to do it? There's so much that goes into this thought process, which is also another kudos to All American Homecoming, because through Keisha's storyline, I think that we're really going to explore that this season, and as you can tell, I identify with it. By the end of the episode, we see Damon actually making peace with the team, dropping in and being vulnerable on the behest of Simone Hicks, who pushes him to reveal how scared he is and reveal how he's actually feeling, and reveal ultimately that he is human and not just the superhero sent to save their baseball team, so that he can connect with them on a deeper level. And I think that was dope. I really enjoyed that. Of all of the baseball scenes, aside from him working out with Simone, because while I don't want to admit it, and if y'all ask me about it in the comment section or come into my DMs a little bit later, I'm going to deny, okay? But I will say, for the purposes of this breakdown and me being honest, one of the best scenes was Damon and Simone working out on the baseball field and connecting as friends in support of each other's athleticism, okay? Not y'all got me out here telling the truth when it comes to Damon Sims. Anywho, he's able to be vulnerable with his teammates, connect with them, ultimately going back to the coach and realizing, like, oh, this is what you actually meant. He makes a little note of, like, all right, coach, your coaching style gonna have to get a little bit better. And it's like, nah, Coach Turner got the perfect coaching style to be able to handle you, Damon. You a handful, but you gonna come along. Also in this episode, we get a little bit of, like, call to maybe a potential backstory between Coach Turner and Auntie Amara, and it's definitely a love triangle triangle brewing between Auntie Amara, Coach Turner, and President Ezekiel. He is definitely feeling her, but she lets him know, like, you cannot be good cop and bad cop, sir. So while you want to check on me and all that, I'm good. I got my support. AKA Coach Turner got me. He was ready to be on them heads about that little tagging of her room. Side note, maybe this does happen to other HBCUs, but this whole writing of a traitor on the door, it felt very PWI steez. Like, the way that HBCUs function, it's like, even if you're at a big one, it's a very close-knit community, so somebody seen something, heard something, did something to know who actually tagged this door like this. And before the end of the episode, Keisha almost gets the gumption to go and tell her dad that she doesn't actually want to do pre-med, that she wants to do dance, but kind of backs down at the last minute. And as I mentioned before, I understand it, girl. It's going to take a few starts to trial, some false starts, but she gonna get there. Maybe by senior year, she gonna get there, but it's definitely going to be a journey. I could see her trying to double major at some point so that she could still try to give her dad what he wants, but also get what she wants, which might also create additional tension and drama for her. And again, I cannot wait to see how this story unfolds. Well, yeah, y'all, that is my breakdown. If you missed it, I went live. I go live every Monday night after All-American Homecoming around 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time so that we could talk about the All-American universe. If you didn't join me, make sure that you join me next week. The video for live is up right now, so you can do the replay and catch what we were talking about, as well as next week's live is there so that you can set a reminder and be reminded the moment that we click go and jump into that conversation. I would love to talk with y'all in the moment before I even do any of these breakdowns, just to see how y'all are feeling, what you're thinking, and all of that, and we are able to all connect with one another. So please be sure to join me on live. If you're new here and it's your first All-American video that you're checking out from my channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my other All-American content, as I am breaking down both the original as well as the spinoff and tons of other amazing television series. It's your good sis Erica Vane. I'm going in the comments right now to see what you're thinking, and so that I can respond, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye.